Ping came in at 0347 station time, and I almost missed it. I was running a fuel consumption audit on the Steadfast Margins port thruster array. Glamorous work. But that's what a 3-day patrol rotation in the Orveth corridor looks like when nothing is actively on fire. My comm officer, Petty Specialist Rowan Adakar, had his feet on the console and was reading something on his personal slate. The bridge was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes you think you're not earning your commission. Then the relay flagged, and Adakar's feet came off the console. "Captain." He didn't say anything else for a moment. He was reading. Sector Relay Orveth-Nine just forwarded a distress ping. I set down the fuel report. Vethani encrypted traffic ban. Compact emergency mask. 3-digit deviation from baseline. He paused. "Captain, there's a notation in the relay log. This same pulse has been coming through Orveth-Nine on a 48-hour cycle for," another pause, 11 years. I crossed to his console and looked at the log myself. He was right. The pulse was there, logged automatically every 48 hours. Every entry stamped inactive. Vethani diplomatic traffic, low priority, no action required. 11 years of entries, hundreds of them. Every 48 hours the relay received it, checked it against the active monitoring list, found no match, and filed it. Except this one. This one had a 3-digit deviation in the header sequence. A small corruption, the kind that happens when a ship's automated broadcast system takes a voltage spike or a partial processor reset. The deviation was enough to shift the pulse into a pattern that matched the Terran Joint Survey Compact's emergency handshake mask, a relic from a mutual monitoring accord that had been partially lapsed for 16 years. The relay, faithful to its programming, forwarded it as a distress ping. 11 years of silence, one bad data frame, and now it was my problem. I looked at Adakar. He was already looking at me. "Log it, set course, and wake Siensen Perev for a secondary comms watch," I said. "Standard approach, nothing aggressive." "Yes, Captain." We found the ship 40 minutes later, sitting at low drift in the outer edge of the corridor, running on primary drive only. It was a Vethani tactical corvette, not a class I'd seen often, compact and angular, built for speed rather than endurance. With the sector insignia of the Vethani Compact's Regional Strike Command painted in dark pigment on the dorsal hull, secondary drive manifold was offline. I could read the heat signature from 3,000 kilometers out. They'd vented something hot recently. Partial manifold failure, the kind that's embarrassing rather than fatal. They were not broadcasting distress. They were, as far as I could tell, pairing their drive. I opened a channel on the compact liaison frequency and waited. The voice that came back was dry and even, with the clipped cadence of a senior military officer who has had a long day and is not interested in making it longer. "Terran vessel, you are not the ship we were expecting." "No," I said. "I'm Captain Saramail, Patrol Corvette Steadfast Margin, Terran Joint Survey Compact Monitoring Detail. We received a distress forward from Sector Relay Orveth-Nine. Are you in need of assistance?" A pause. Not a long one. The kind of pause that happens when a person is looking at something on a screen they were not expecting to see and is doing the arithmetic quietly. "This is Strike Commander Orveth-Nine, Vethani Compact Regional Unit." Another short pause. "We are not in distress. We transmitted a scheduled check-in pulse on our command band at 0300 hours. We have been transmitting this pulse every 48 hours for 11 years. This is standard unit status protocol." "I understand that," I said. Pulse had a 3-digit header deviation this cycle. Sector Relay Orveth-Nine read it as a compact emergency handshake. It forwarded accordingly. The pause this time was a little longer. The relay forwarded us to Earth. "To the Terran monitoring suite, yes," which dispatched me. Another pause. I could hear faintly the sound of someone on the Vethani bridge saying something in their own language, and another voice replying. I didn't catch what either of them said. Commander Dunn came back on the channel. "For 11 years. For 11 years, I confirmed. The relay received your pulse every 48 hours and filed it as inactive diplomatic traffic. Tonight it filed it as a distress forward, because of 3 digits. Yes." I waited. I was getting a read on their secondary drive now. Adakar had the passive scan running, quiet, nothing that would read as aggressive. The manifold wasn't a critical failure. They could limp home on primary drive if they needed to. But limp is the operative word, And this was the outer edge of the corridor. A long way from anywhere, the Vethani compact had a service depot. Commander Dunn's voice, when it came back, was exactly as dry as it had been before. Our secondary drive manifold has experienced a partial failure, currently conducting repairs. Estimated time to restoration is 7 hours. I see that, I said. We did not report it as a distress event. No, I agreed. You didn't. Another pause. Captain Mail. He said my name with the careful precision of someone who has just decided to treat a situation as administrative rather than personal. Are you in a position to render a tow assist for approximately 4 hours, as far as the Vethani service corridor at Relay Junction 11? I am, I said. Then we will accept. I had Adhikar log the assist request under compact mutual aid provision and pass the con to Ensign Perev while I handled the tow arm alignment, personally. It's not complicated work, but it's the kind of thing I prefer to watch with my own eyes, when the vessel on the other end is a foreign, military unit I've never worked with before. The tow connection took 11 minutes to establish. Commander Dunn's crew was precise about it. The magnetic clamps seated cleanly on the first pass told me they'd done this before, even if they weren't going to volunteer the information. We made the 4-hour transit at reduced speed, which gave me time to finish the fuel consumption audit and think about how to write the incident report. 3-digit header deviation resulting in compact emergency forward, standard mutual aid assist rendered. No casualties, no engagement. Vessel delivered to service corridor, tow arm released at 0812 station time. It was going to be the least interesting report I'd filed in 3 years. I was on the final paragraph when Commander Dunn's channel opened again. Captain Mail. Commander. Your relay. He stopped. He was choosing words. With some care. Your relay has been receiving our unit status pulse for 11 years. According to the log, yes. And it never forwarded before tonight. No. Tonight's pulse had a deviation. I understand that. A pause. I am noting that the relay appears to have been monitoring that band for 11 years without any action being taken. That's correct, I said. Band was filed as inactive diplomatic traffic. No action was indicated, but the relay was active. Monitoring. The relay is active, I said. The Terran Joint Survey Compact Monitoring Suite keeps every band in the active log until there's a formal decommission order. There hasn't been one for Orveth-Nine. There was a pause that was longer than the others. Then for 11 years, he said, slowly, if our pulse had deviated, you would have received it. If it had deviated enough to match the emergency handshake mask, yes. He didn't say anything to that for a moment. I didn't push. That is useful to know, he said finally. He said it the way a senior officer says something he is going to write down later and think about. Commander, I said, do you want me to log the band as active liaison traffic rather than inactive diplomatic traffic? I can file the notation. Take about 40 seconds. A pause. Yes, he said. That would be appropriate. It took 37 seconds. I sent the notation to Adhikar, filed it without comment, which is what I pay Adhikar for. We released the tow arm at Relay Junction 11 at 0812 as logged. Commander Dunn's crew ran their post-tow systems check-in just under 4 minutes, efficient, quiet, professional. The channel opened one more time. Thank you, Captain Mail. Glad you flagged us, I said. He did not point out that he hadn't flagged us. That, a voltage spike in his ship's automated broadcast system, and a monitoring relay that nobody had bothered to decommission had flagged him 11 years after the fact, on account of 3 digits. He didn't say any of that. He just closed the channel. I wrote the rest of the incident report on the transit back to the patrol corridor. 3 lines for the event, 1 line for the tow assist, 1 line for the band notation update. I flagged the file as routine mutual aid. Recommended no further action beyond standard relay maintenance review, and noted that Sector Relay Orveth-Nine was functioning within normal parameters, which it was. I also noted, in the administrative addendum, that the Vethani Compact Regional Strike Command's unit status band had been reclassified as active liaison traffic and would henceforth forward any deviation to the monitoring suite automatically, standard compact protocol, which it would. Adhikar read the addendum over my shoulder without saying anything for a moment. Then he said, "Now if they ever actually break down out here, we'll hear it," I said. He nodded and went back to his console and put his feet back up. corridor was quiet again.